4:31 is, the meeting is now in session. And I want to tell everybody, thank you for joining us for the general membership meeting for the fall 2022. We got a special guest. I'm gonna jump right into it because I have another situation, a meeting I gotta go to. So I want to get this meeting started, and I want our guest. We have a guest speaker from MCU, Miss Deborah Saradino, who's going to speak to us about MCU and the programs that they have to offer us at all different levels. So Deb, you can feel free to jump in.
Thank you. Am I unmuted now?
Yep.
All right, great. Is there any chance I can share my screen, or if not, don't worry about it?
Yes, try now.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so for those of you who, well, first of all, let me say good evening, and thank you for having me today. I almost forgot, and I accidentally called because I thought I missed a call, and it turned out that today was the day I was supposed to be on this call. So it worked out well, and I'm happy to be here today. And I want to just give some information about MCU. At the end of my presentation, my contact information will be available for you. So anybody who has any questions, and if you prefer to talk offline, that's fine with me. You can call me or email me or text me at any time. I'm happy to speak with you. So for those of you who are not familiar with MCU, we are a credit union. Credit unions are very similar to banks. The difference, though, is that you will find at credit unions, you will find our interest rates to be lower and fees to be less. So if you're trying to save some money, and nowadays that's definitely a priority amongst all of us with interest rates going up and prices in general. So we have to see where we can save money. You have, I'm sure most of you, or maybe even all of you, have accounts with commercial banks. You don't have to change any of that. Keep your commercial bank accounts if that's what you like, but what you can do, because you are eligible to have an account with MCU, you have that, that's a benefit for you. Open up a credit union account and take advantage of what we can offer you. Again, lower interest rates on credit cards and loans. So let me ask you, everyone, I'm sure, has at least one credit card. So think about for a second the credit card you might have. Think about the interest rates. Average interest rate now is about 20%, 22% in some places. The interest rate on our credit card goes from 10.90 to 14.90. There are no annual fees. There are no balance transfer fees. That's just some of the ways that a credit union is able to save you some money, lower the interest rates. We are a not-for-profit organization, and credit unions are known for people helping people. That's how we started out. We started out well over 100 years ago, trying to help people from stay away from loan sharking and high interest rates, and that's where credit unions were born. We have been New York's credit union since 1916. We service all of the city agencies, employees at hospitals, and your family members are eligible as well. So even if you don't have an account with MCU, let your families know that they are eligible because you are a city employee. It doesn't matter if you have an account with us or not. You have nothing to do with their account. If they open an account, they are eligible because of you. I spoke about how banks and credit unions are the same but different. Here's where they are different. Banks are for-profit, where credit unions are not. Credit unions have members. We are member-driven. Where commercial banks have customers, they are driven by their shareholders. That's where the profits have to go from commercial banks. They have to pay their shareholders. MCU, any profits go back into the credit union, and we are overseen by a board of directors, a volunteer board of directors. And again, you'll see that our fees will be less than you'll find at the commercial banks, and interest rates will definitely be lower. Our best interest rate is probably on our auto loans. We have new loans, used cars, refinancing, lease buyouts. That's probably our most popular loan, would be the auto loans. What we are trying to do is we want to become your main financial institution. We want to see you through every step of the way in your career, in your home life, whether it's purchasing a home, purchasing a car, saving money to put your kids through school, and even for yourself, saving for retirement. It's us we want you to look at, where we can save you money and help you reach these goals. MCU offers all of the same products that you'll find at the banks, except for we have 2 accounts that are super popular with our members, and they are the holiday and vacation club accounts. They are really popular because they help people save money. That's exactly what they're for. And the reason why they're so good at helping you save is because you cannot access these accounts at an ATM. They don't even come up for you to see them. You can see them on your online account, on the app, but not in an ATM. The only way you can withdraw from them is wait for their payout date, which is once a year, or you can visit a branch and make one withdrawal. If you go back for a second withdrawal, we will ask you to close that club account and not reopen it until the next cycle. The accounts are not made to be in and out of. It's to help you save. The holiday automatically pays out every November 1st. You don't have to do anything. It will automatically, whatever is saved in that account will automatically be deposited into your savings account. The same goes for the vacation account, but that's on May 1st. And then the cycle begins again. You can have money taken out of your paycheck to deposit into these accounts. You can transfer money from another financial institution, or you could just make a deposit at a branch. It's up to you, but these are great ways to help someone, especially if you're not very disciplined in your saving. Start a holiday or vacation account. No extra fees, no minimum balance, minimum balance requirements or anything. These are really great accounts. If you're an existing member, you can add these on. If you'd like to become a new member, you can add them along with your savings account. As you see here, we have all the services that the commercial banks offer: mobile deposit, online banking, bill pay. And if you have direct deposit or payroll deduction with us, you will see your money will hit your account at least 1 day prior to payday. So it gives you 1 day sooner, which is a little bit of a nice perk. That's about it for what MCU offers. I'm happy to answer any questions, whether it be now. I don't know the time frame. If now is not the time, then you can contact me through email, call me, text me, however you like to communicate is fine with me. I can help you, whether it's with an existing account, if you'd like to open a new account, if you're interested in any type of loan, I could talk to you about what kind of interest rates you might be looking at and run some numbers for you. And the same thing goes for the credit card. Thank you for your time.
Oh, hi, Deb. It's me. I'm sorry. So real quick, I just want to ask you some quick questions because the other questions we'll have them forwarded to you. Is there a link that we can put on our website that you could send to us to have access so they could review or something?
So there's a couple of ways you can open an account. You can visit our website. You would just have to put the link to our website, and then someone could go on there and open an account. You can contact me and I can send an application electronically. Okay. And they would just return it to me. It would come directly to me. If you go through the website, then it goes back through that way. And you could also visit a branch. So those would be the 3 ways that you can open an account.
All right, cool. So we thank you, and you'll put your information up, and we can have your information. Can we put your information on our website? Sure,
you could put. Absolutely, you can put it on your website.
Okay, cool. We appreciate.
If you'd like, if you want to put it on your website, I can provide you with a flyer that lists our services. I could send that to you.
Yes. Okay. I appreciate it. And I'll pass it on to Tanja.
Thanks for having me.
All right, be safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you. So before we get into the other parts of the meeting, I want to talk about, before Mr. Greenberg, our attorney, speaks, there's a lot that's been going on in the past few days. By now, you all have heard that our Commissioner, Anna Bermudez, is leaving, I believe, by the end of the month. I think that's what she had on the email. We don't know no more than what we know. That's all we know. We don't know who's going to replace her. We don't know nothing. We don't know what happened. We just know that she's leaving. And on behalf of the UPOA, we just want to thank her for her services, and we just wish her and her family well. Once we know something, if we know something before you all know something, we'll share it with you. But it's up to the department to let you know what's the next steps. And that's all going to be contingent upon who the mayor chooses to replace her. So that's where we at on that. Okay, so so that's that. So now I'm gonna have our attorney, before Mr. Greenberg speaks, because I want to tie this into the financial piece. We remember, if you recall, we have a benefit with the Stacy Braun, and it's a benefit that's for all the active members, that you can set up your financial, you get financial advisors and everything at your disposal without any additional cost. And we set up a webinar scheduled for November 2nd, and it went out. And so far, not many people registered for it. It would be nice if a lot more you would sign up to find out more how to manage your finances. A lot of you have already retired. Some of you are getting ready to retire. Some of you are brand new to the agency. And it'll be good to know how to, I know we don't make a lot of money. I know that, I already know that, we're working on that. But at the end of the day, whatever you have, you want to try to, you should want to try to make it grow for you to the best of your ability. So it'd be nice if you all would sign up for the webinar. We'll have it sent out again. It's November 2nd, and it can't hurt to sit and just, find out more about what the program has to offer. So with that said, I am going to have our attorney, Harry Greenberg, come and talk about the health plan, the contract, and other issues. Amen.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's almost good evening. This time of the year, it gets dark too early. There are two major things that are going on in the city that you read about in the papers, and you've been bombarded with by others, maybe giving you their version of what's happening and not giving you a whole story. The first thing I want to talk about is vaccine. Judge Frank, the MLC, let me put it this way, filed a lawsuit saying, an improper practice, I'm sorry, that what they did with the vaccination, they had a bargain over before they did it. On just the other day, I'm getting you the exact date, on October 6th, we came out with a decision where we won a good part of what we were looking for. They have to bargain over the impact of the procedures that they put in place. So what does that mean? It means the people, and I don't think we had anybody fired or put on leave without pay, but if we did, we have to bargain over the procedures.
We did.
Right, and we're gonna have to be doing that. The city filed a dissent. They put this decision off 2 months to file a dissent. We could have got this 2 months ago. So what does that mean? It means that if you lost any money or if you were fired, we're going to ask for procedures to be followed and for you to be reinstated for the period of time. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to get it. That means we're going to bargain over it. And if we can't come to an agreement, right, meaning the people who were part of this and this union was part of it, we could go to what's called, under the New York City collective bargaining law, impasse. And they'll have to bargain, there'll be mediation, and if we can't come to a result, we'll get to a hearing. So that is a good beginning. There was another improper practice that was forwarded and filed by the firefighters and the fire officers, and that is going to, if we're successful, they'll have to guarantee us retroactive benefits, right? So what does that mean? If I'm a member who was fired or put on leave without pay, we can't ask for retroactive pay. We could ask for them to be reinstated. We could ask for the member to have all the time without pay and or fired, have that good time for their pension, right? And we have to do it prospectively. We can't go backwards. This other decision, which will probably come out in January, will, if we're successful, will give us the right to go retroactive. So that's what's going on partially with the vaccination. The other is this week, the MLC filed for about 30 some odd unions, of which you're one, to say, wait a minute. The pandemic is over. The CDC has said that, and school kids don't have to be vaccinated anymore to go to school. They don't have to wear masks anymore, right? The professional athletes don't have to. The private sector employees don't have to do all of those things. So why are we different? We're the ones that came to work during the worst parts of the pandemic, right? And a good period of time, there was no vaccination, nothing, and we came to work, right? That was just filed this week. I'm sure that will be litigated, and it'll take a while, but hopefully now that government employees, federal and state employees are saying, guess what? I should be made whole. And if we were successful, and that's going to take a while, it'll be a nice victory. Long fought for, and that's the vaccination. As far as health insurance, there were two agreements that were entered into by the MLC, which is the bargaining agent for for both active and retirees. And I'm going to get you the date in a second. March 3rd, there was a decision that came down from Judge Lyle Frank. And he said a few things. And that's being appealed. But what he said was, and this is interesting, he said, he had put a TRO, a temporary restraining order, on the managed care for retirees. Now, in 2014, there were changes in health for everybody. And we saved over $3 billion a year reoccurring. So you still didn't have to pay into your premium, where everybody else has to pay around us. Nassau, Suffolk, Westchester, the state. Everybody's paying in premium besides copays. Right? So the insurance companies change things around, and I'm reading you now from the decision. The court finds that at this point, the implementation of Medicare Advantage plan is no longer what the court would consider irrational. So they're saying, hold on a second. I'm on a Zoom. I got to call you back. I'm on a Zoom. I got to call you back. Yeah. Okay, great. Okay. So in 2014, we gave the city savings, and I'll give you one for instance. Remember, it was $50 for an emergency room visit. It went up to $150. You know why? Because we found out, looking at the statistics, it's cheaper to pay $50 to get a day off and use a sick day. Now it's $150. That abuse, and that was an abuse. If you can come back in one day, to go to the emergency room and pay $50 for a day off may have been viable. Things like that would change, minimal things. So the court finds that the Medicare Advantage, now this was a lawsuit brought by approximately 50 to 80 retired school teachers. Now, we're not talking about regular retirees below the age of 65. These are over 65 people. And he said, the legal arguments made by petitioners, that's this group, unavailing. The respondents, the city, that's the city, was well within its right to work with the Municipal Labor Council to change how retirees get their health insurance. So they didn't break the law. And then the third thing he said was, as petitioners freely acknowledged, the New York State Constitution does not guarantee specific health insurance for retirees, right? And then he goes on to say, of course, none of this is to say the respondents, meaning the city, must give retirees an option of plans, nor that if the plan goes above the threshold, that the respondents could not pass along the above costs to retirees. the city and the retirees appealed, and the hearing is going to be October 27th. There is a group that's out there that is soliciting money to continue this fight. The problem here is the idea of the city is saying, even though in 2014, we got $3.4 billion in savings from you negotiating, and in 2018, another 1.6 for approximately $5 billion in savings, we still need more. Now you say, why do they need more? Because health insurance goes up 10% and 10% a year. Now their increases have to be approved by the state. And they're getting approved, right? So how do we do things? Well, the administrative code says the city has to pay for every active and retiree 100% of the HIP rate, right? This deal, this Medicare Advantage, is different. We get reimbursed from the federal government for the entire cost of the Medicare Advantage, and there was a bad marketing as to what that meant. What happens is the lawsuit comes out, we went to court, everything was put on hold, and the $600 million that was being saved didn't materialize. So what happened is the city continued to pay the $50 million a month to keep you on just this thing that was previously negotiated, and not have for the Medicare retirees a change. While this litigation is going on, the Alliance, which was going to be the insurer along with Emblem, for the Medicare Advantage program, pulled out. So there is no deal. Right now, everybody stays where they are for the Medicare retirees. The city is now saying that besides that $50 million or $600 million a year, they need approximately $1.2 million from the whole program, actors and retirees. And that's being discussed. No answer yet. So you may be getting information, especially the retirees, to solicit money for something that
It shouldn't happen.
for years, for 50 years, the unions got for you. People in the 1950s didn't have health insurance. In the 60s, they started to get it. And I'm giving a summary here, right? And now for when everybody else is paying active and retirees into health insurance, right? Everybody else has that, right? That New York City, you're not paying premiums. You're not paying premiums besides copays. So that's what's going on there. On the 27th of October, there'll be a hearing. And sometime after that, there'll be a decision. And we'll see how it goes. Now, I must tell you, part of Judge Frank's decision said, as of April 1st, they could have instituted this Medicare Advantage. They could have done that, and they decided not to. The city and the unions decided not to. So if they're successful, you'll have an option to pay into the premium or get it for free, depending on what coverage you want. So that's where it's at. I'm saying to you this: don't listen to people who are trying to sell you something. You're going to get the facts from us. They'll be the real facts. No tainting one way or the other. And when the decision's over and everything is agreed upon, because there's negotiations going on right now, and what you might have heard is the city and the MLC, you're a part of that, is looking to change the law. That's true. That hasn't happened yet. There's no bill in the city council, right? So until that happens, nothing's changed. So right now, and for the near future, nothing's changed. When things happen, you'll be reading about it in the papers. We'll be telling you it. The MLC will be telling you it. And the bottom line is, nobody's looking to cut your benefits, and nobody's looking to make you pay premiums. on the union side. And if anybody tells you different, I don't know where we're gonna wind up, but as of now, that's not true. And I'll take any questions on those.
Harry, any questions, you could put them in the chat, or you can send your questions to United Probation at NYC,
Perfect,
I'm
that's
sorry,
what I'll do.
yeah, at gmail.com, and then we'll phone them to Harry. Real quick, not real quick, I'm sorry, I'm stop saying that. We need to address the contract situation.
Okay, I'm glad you just saw that. So
Yeah.
while we're meeting with the city over contracts, because we're getting dates. The Commissioner of Labor has told numerous people there will be no contract negotiations, no contracts approved until the health is over. We're looking at ways to force that issue because your contract needs to be bargained. You need more money. You read in the papers every day, the cost of living is going up, right? And I don't know how I'm not a soothsayer. I can't tell you the future, but you can't buy the same amount of oranges, pay the same amount of rent, and everything else you got to do the same amount of money.
Right.
We have to get your raise, and that's what the board is meeting on. You're creating a collective bargaining committee. We're going to move forward, and we're looking at if it's better to go into coalition bargaining. Now, what is that? In the past, there's been two coalitions, uniform and civilian. That's what's there. We're looking to put a coalition together so we can have the power of not 660 or so employees, but tens of thousands to make it a pattern that we're fighting for. And we're looking to get together with like-minded unions to make sure, for the money end of it at least, we all get the same, not less, and we'll have separate unit bargaining to address our needs. So that's what's going on with the bargaining.
Hey, could you repeat one more time what we're waiting for, why we can't get the
Sure.
contract?
Right now, we're waiting on October 27th. The appellate division is going to come down with a decision. And that will probably be final unless somebody appeals it to the Court of Appeals. If they do, I don't know if the court will accept it. It's not mandatory that they accept it. But that will probably be sometime after October 27th when we argue. What that means is when we put together a coalition, if that's where we're going, and that's not been decided yet, we'll have more powerful group than just being alone. That's being discussed now. No final decision has been made about that. And the idea here is to get you in a position that's the best for our future, meaning the probation people.
Harry, how far so when you say coalition, that means either, because we could be either civilian or law enforcement, but we're still discussing it because does that mean that we go as far as, how far, that means the coalition can go as far as arbitration, impasse? I mean, how far?
Yes, I'm glad you asked. Here's the way it works. Once you form a coalition, you bargain. If you can't come to an agreement, with at least, you have to have 3 meetings unless the city refuses to meet. Once you can't come to an agreement, you could file under the New York City collective bargaining law, which is called a petition for not interest arbitration, but for fact finding, which is approximately the same. Then you have to go through mediation. Mediator comes in and tries to make a deal. When that falls apart, you can petition for and get fact finding, which means we go in front of an arbitrator, 1 or 3, and make our case, and then the city says why they're broke. Now, I have to tell you, in all the years, I shouldn't say that, for the last 25 to 30 years, that's a long time, the city has been saying they're broke. And miraculously, after all the contracts are done, they find money. Right? And we can prove that because that's the facts. So happens to be, they're not in great shape right now, quite frankly, the city. But that doesn't mean they can't make a contract that you can live on. It means there's all ways to raise money, getting money from the federal government, getting money from the state, or getting money from the public, raising taxes. And it doesn't take a lot to raise the taxes because there's a lot of people. There are approximately 9 million people in the city of New York that live here, right? So just think of 9 million people paying over a year $100. That's $900 million.
Right.
You could get a lot of money. That's a lot of money that we could use. Now, of course, there's a lot of people that want their fingers in that, and we have to make sure we get our share. But we're not up to that yet.
Right.
What we're up to is forming a coalition, if that's the best way to go.
Mm-hmm.
The committee that the UPOA and Katrina are putting together is going to meet so we can prepare our demands, not just for money, but for working conditions,
Mm-hmm.
and then meet. And then let's see what happens. I believe before the end of the year, we're going to have an idea of where health is going. So that will hopefully be out of the way. And if there's an appeal, it'll be later than that. If the Court of Appeals accepts it, it'll be later than that. And then if there's not, we can bargain and we can't come to a deal, then we'll have to either go on our own or go in a group. Now, there's two reasons why a group might be better, at least two reasons. One is you divide the cost up because it's not cheap, right? You need expert economists, expert witnesses to say what you're saying is true, right? With the cost of living and things like that, right? And you know what's interesting? What's really interesting? All the city council people get a stipend to spend so they can get reelected. Now I'm being facetious here because what they do is they try to do benefits for their particular district. Well, you know what? Their district didn't come to work during the pandemic. Their district didn't do things to keep things going. We are important. We and all the other city workers, and we need to make that point. And we fight the fight that we have to fight. Hopefully we don't have to fight it, but we fight the fight to make sure you get every penny you deserve. That doesn't mean we don't continue to fight for making you uniform or keeping you in the pattern of uniform, making you in the pattern of uniform. That doesn't mean that's on the side. That's not on the side.
That's
right in front of us, and we're working on that as we speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything else, Katrina?
Yeah, I did have a question, but my brain kind of stopped right now. But so as this unfolds, I just wanted to share with the membership that as this unfolds, we're going to make sure that we keep everybody abreast as to what's going on. But we have to, when we get to a point where we have to go to, as we go to each level, we'll inform you, ladies and gentlemen, on what's going on. Is there a point, Harry, where the members have to, outside of what we're used to doing is automatically ratifying the contract, right? If that's what we're used to doing. What I want to say is that I want to go hard, but it's what the membership wants, right? The willingness of what they want to do. So we will come to them and let them know when we get to that point and they make that decision, or how does that work?
Well,
or do we?
Here's, first of all, what I haven't said yet is you can't strike.
No, we can't strike, y'all. No.
Federal law says
right.
You can't strike.
Do that. Right.
You lose your dues check off.
Right.
Right. And there's other penalties.
Right.
That are paid. Strike is defined very broadly.
Right.
And I'll just give you, for instance, in the 70s, the New York City PBA handed out leaflets at the airports and the train stations for people coming in with a skull and bones on it saying, you're not safe in New York City. A judge restrained them from doing that. If you go sick in greater than normal, that could be a strike. And you could get the penalties, a fine, plus the dues checkoff is gone. really, it prohibits you. And I will tell you, if you remember the last transit strike that lasted for 2.5 days, I was in court when the judge said, $1 million a day, you lose your douche check off, and I want the deed to your building, and I want this and I want that. And that's why after 2.5 days, they went back to work. And they had binding arbitration. So it's very important that you understand there's ways to fight, and
Right,
and we'll do it without breaking the law.
right,
And if everybody listens, and when we ask you to come down to demonstrate, that's not a
Right.
strike,
right.
right? But we have to force the hand of the city. Hopefully
Yes.
not. Hopefully we get to a deal. That's the goal. But if we can't get to a deal that's good for you, or
To
the
come
best
outside.
that we can get under the circumstances, then we're gonna come to you and say, this is what we need to do.
Yep,
And that'll be a time to stop talking about it and follow the lead,
that's right.
follow the instructions, not break the law, but follow the instructions and make it difficult for the city council, the mayor, and anybody else in charge, not give us what we deserve.
And I want to piggyback off of Harry, because I've been wanting us to make moves and go outside and make noise, but I want to make sure that when we do this, that we're going to get 100% support from each other. That it can't be, we sit on the sidelines and we talk about it and don't be about it. It's time for us to be about it. We've been going through this way too long. Our salaries is far too low. If you look at the advertisements on the websites, how they insult us. One person said they'd rather work at McDonald's before they come and work here. And it's funny, but it's sad that we got college educations and that our salaries are so low, and that after so many years on the job, you're still struggling to trying to make ends meet, like Harry said. And we got people that's retired here. And I commend you. I think, it's kind of concerning, because you look at the salaries and you got to wonder how do people even survive. And I don't mean to get in people's pocket. And that's why I continue to bring programs like the Stacey Braun programs and MCU and different financial experts and advisors to you, because I want you to, all of us to know how to make our money grow. But at the same time, we have to have more money in our pocket. So when that time comes, I really do expect to see us come out without breaking the law. We did do something with DC 37 earlier this year, but that was for DC 37 for their contract. I must admit, we had a very good turnout. We had good turnout from most of the boroughs except for 2. And I was very impressed. I want to see even better when the time comes. I'm not, and I hope that it will come. Maybe it won't, like Harry said, maybe we'll be able to get something before that. But if it comes to that, and we say, let's come outside, I expect to see people come outside and putting little cute, little blue t-shirts that I bought, I got everybody. And on another note, Harry, I'm on grievances. When people tend to want to, let me say this carefully, people have concerns. We all have concerns about how things are done in this department, how we're treated. Some things are agreeable and some things are not. But, and I'll tell you that. If I'll tell you that, or when the reps will tell you that, we'll tell you what's agreeable and what's not. But when we do, for FYI, when we do file grievances, you have to be 100% certain that this is what you want to do. Because, so when I say come out, I say, so if it says, for example, not only do you have to be willing to come out, you have to be willing to put your names to paper sometimes, right? You have to be willing to put things in writing. So when we go, for example, to have grievances, and we go so far as to try to get stuff calendared, and I'm talking with the lawyers, and the lawyers is prepping these cases and stuff like that, and people pull out, that costs us money. So when you are ready to file a grievance and you ready to for sure, but that's what we're here for. If it's a agreeable issue, then you have to be willing to go all the way through it. And or if you do not want to be great, if you don't want to go through it, you have to let us know at some point early in the game if you're not. But we will not force your hand, but understand filing grievances is costly. And when we cancel out on grievances, we have to pay for that. So I just want to make that very clear. And like I said, when we get to that point where somebody wants to file a grievance, you got to be 100% certain. This is a time for us to stand together not to fight each other, because when we swing at each other, we swing at ourselves. That's when you swing at me, you're swinging at yourself. When I swing at you, I'm swinging at you, I'm swinging at myself. So this is the time for us to show a unified front, because then on top of the contractual agreement, then we still have the EEO case. So I'm coming at them with all different angles. I just finished testifying in City Hall. I'm being asked to come back to City Hall to continue testifying. It's a process, because we're like newborns coming out the wombs, and we still come out the womb. You're probably saying, well, Dad, when we gonna stop crawling and walking? I don't know. It's a process. I think right now we're at the stage of probably crawling. We're starting to get our bearings. People starting to recognize us and see us, and starting to see us and recognizing probation for what we are. We was just at domestic violence program walk in Bronx, and we was not acknowledged for our participation in the programs in for domestic violence. I'm constantly hearing about us more and more out there in the community. So we must be doing something right. But at the end of the day, when it comes to the show, the faces of probation officers, it's not just my face they need to see. So I just wanted to speak on that. And I thank you, Harry.
Okay,
so
I'm going to be signing off now.
Okay, so the next topic.
Good luck, everybody.
Thank you. So the next topic I want to talk about is the pension bill. I didn't forget about the pension bill. It's being sponsored by Senator Granades, Andrew Granades. We had spoke to him, I believe it was last year, and he's going to sponsor the bill. So what they're doing right now is being worked on by the New York City actuary. And what the actuary does is look at the place with the numbers to see what it would cost to have, if this pension bill, and I'm not going to say if, when the pension bill, because we have to put it out in the universe as if it's so. So I'm gonna keep saying as if it's so, and I want y'all to keep thinking that it will be, because it will be in time. When that, they have to now figure out the cost of the pension bill, and it will be, I was told, it will be reintroduced in 2023. And once I get the pension number or the pension bill or whatever, I will definitely share it with you guys, ladies and gentlemen, so that you can monitor it. And on those sites under Senator Granades and that pension number, they'll ask you, are you in agreement of this bill? And this is when you can say nay or yay. You get your family members also to say they are in support of the bill. And there's another bill I want to work on, is the HEART bill. I got to find out how do I get that done. So I want you to know legislation is still happening. It's still happening behind the doors. That hasn't been forgotten. We still got the money stuff that's being worked on, and all this is going to take time, but we're definitely moving in the right direction. On the welfare fund reminders, I was informed by Charlene and Joanne and myself, when you file claims, you have to make sure that you file claims with the right forms. On our website, www.upoa.com, there's a claim for each and every benefit. And if you don't have any claims, or you don't have a way to download, you don't have a computer, and I know sometimes the retirees don't have access, just call us and we'll mail you the right forms. But and you also got to make sure that you send the claims in with the proof of purchase and the receipt itemized. It has to have your name on it. It has to have everything so that we can properly file, because put the claim in, because when we get audited by the city, their auditors ask us questions, and we can't just file any kind of claim. Our stuff has to be on point. So just make sure that when you file claims, that you make sure that it has all the right information. And if you have any doubt, you call the union office. And if you haven't done already, you can also go to ASO, which I believe we sent you guys. Maybe Tanja, you could put it up on the website, how to set up your ASO account so that you can upload your claims into the system. But when you upload, do not mail them. Also, just either mail them or upload them. And I know you're hearing the broken record, but we got some people that still put in claims and they're not putting them in right. And some claims are so problematic to read and understand. It takes sometimes us an hour or so to try to decipher what's what. So make sure you put them in clean and comprehensible, the same way you put in your work, right? So we want the same thing. January start, and correct me if I'm wrong, Shaw and Joanne. January starts the new eyeglass cycle. Okay, I'm right. Finally got it right. January starts your new eyeglass cycle. So if you haven't got your eyeglasses yet, check with Charlene or me and Joanne. Charlene, you can jump in a minute now. You can get your new glasses in December for this cycle, and still get your glasses for the new cycle.
It doesn't carry over though.
Right, it doesn't carry over.
Have money, yeah.
So if you got money, or you think you have money, if you're not sure you got money for your family members or yourself, double check with one of us and we'll look it up. For the individual active and retired, it's $600, and for your family members, it's $400. So if you want to get it in, try to get it in now. And then we thinking about doing, just the FYI, I'm thinking about, because I believe about giving back, because when you give back, you get it back. So I'm thinking about, and if anybody want to help me with this, doing an eyeglass drive. I think there's a Lions association, something that collect glasses. Maybe we could take our old glasses. I know I got a ton of them, like Fred Sanford, doing nothing with them that we can donate to some organization that could benefit from it. So just remember that eyeglass optical starts January. If you haven't used it yet, for you and your family, get it in now till December 31st, y'all.
December 31st, correct.
December 31st, and then after that, you lose it. You know, it doesn't roll over. Okay. The pensions and so then about 2 or 3 months ago, ASO mailed out. Okay, you know we have the annuity money. Okay, ASO mailed out to everybody that's active an annuity enrollment form with a return address to go back to ASO in Long Island. I'm not sure how many of you enrolled in it to put your beneficiaries on that form and send it back to ASO, because we're getting some of them in the union office. The welfare fund has a form for your beneficiary independence that comes to the union office, but annuity sent you all a form to fill out to enroll. So when you die, that money goes to your family members. For the active, right now, like I said before, you can go online and see what your annuity money balances what the balances are on your annuity money to date. We're still working on the distribution part. There's certain things that legally that we have to put in place. I apologize because during the COVID, I wasn't thinking we should have been doing that first. So by the time we had the monies in the account when we deferred it, we could have rolled it out, but I'm new to this and I didn't think about it, and that should have been told about it. So just bear with us on those who have retired that want to take it out, those who've just come to the agency and they want to take that money and transfer it into those accounts, into this account. Just bear with us until we get that all situated. I had mentioned in my last newsletter that we were informed during the labor management meeting that people are not to change their tours. And I'm going to say it again, and I'll back it up to any manager if they need me to say it, and I will call downtown that you are not to, unless you want to, change your tour on Halloween to do that detail. If they ask you to work, they have to pay you paid overtime, unless you choose to do it in comp time. But you are not to change your tour to prevent overtime. They have to pay you the overtime. We also put up on our website, and Jeff, I believe you did it on Twitter and we did it on Facebook, the student loan forgiveness program. If you still have a student loan, I suggest that you go to the Facebook or to our Twitter, and it's online. You can get it for the President Biden's forgiveness program. So look into that to see how you can pay off your loans. And if you don't know, you can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And we also have our website. So we have all different social media platforms to keep in touch and keep up what's going on with the union. The health and wellness. Hold on. Before I go on, I want to congratulate all the POs who became SPOs. I want to congratulate you on your new position. I want to congratulate you on your future endeavor. And if you need us, all head supervisors, including myself, I am here for you. And so is many other supervisors that's here to support you, because there's a difference in doing your own caseload versus doing 6 other people's. So if you need help on that, let us know. We'll be here to support you. The health and wellness is, if you don't know, our health and wellness, and we made a health and wellness toy/book drive. And it's going to be December 3rd at Anton's in Queens. We ask that people go on to either website and register. Do you have to register? No, but we would like for you to register so we can get, and this is for active and retired, for everybody to register, because we want to get an idea when we go back to Anton's to get a head count of who's coming. So it'd be great if you was to go online and register. it'd be nice if you bring a toy or a book. And what we want to do this year, every year we do a toy drive and we give back to the community. So this year we want to take those toys and we want to give it to the selected probation clients on family court and adult who you choose that you feel should get a toy or toys for the family. We haven't worked out the logistics yet. We probably have you either write to us or do a form or something, and then we'll figure out how that's going to be done. But we want to give back to the people who you feel might need or will appreciate a toy or something from you. And I will be going around in November so we can have face-to-face conversations about what's going on. I want to hear your concerns. A lot of things that cool. Thank you, Ms. Woody. Call me on my number. I'm gonna put my number in the chat so we could I got some volunteers already for eyeglass. I appreciate that. And I like that Miss Woody volunteered. Some of these projects that we work on, like the breast cancer and all these fundraisers that we do, giving back to the community, it'd be great. It don't have to just be the executive board or the delegates that formulate these gift backs. Anybody can join us on this. Just like we were talking about the contract. If you guys want to do a little focus group, maybe I could come around and you select a couple of people from within your locations and we sit down and we have a focus group about what we want to see on the contracts and what's going on in-house. We could do that. I have no problem with doing that. And if somebody wants to, I talk to the executives and I have them, I'll give you the telephone number in a minute. I will have the executives identify those individuals that will sit down and we talk about it. So that's what I want to do. I'm going to put the phone number in the chat right now about who wants to donate, who wants to help with the eyeglass drive, and who wants to help with the toy drive, because we might need some little elves to help deliver the toys to the families. I already spoke to the department about it and they like the idea of that too. I think that's it. And like I said, when it comes to the commissioner, once we know what's going on, then we'll share with you, but I don't have no more on that subject. Uniform allowance monies for those for the active. Uniform allowance money is coming in December. So that's usually the last check in December. So you got something to look forward to on that. And like I said, once we get everything together, we'll be up and running, then we'll start contract negotiations. So hopefully I will see everybody active and retired. It'll be like one big happy reunion. We're gonna have a good time. We're going to Musa. We're gonna learn some stuff about our health. We're gonna have somebody coming from Northwell, Emblem. We got the breast cancer. We got 24-hour fitness. And I'm not sure whoever else I got as Jennifer that's coming. I want somebody to specifically talk about vaccines and viruses and what's that about and, what they project for the future. And that's it. So I want to thank everybody. Get home safely if you're not home already. I appreciate you all getting on, and I'll see you on December 3rd so we can all have a good time.
Bye. Ciao, ciao. See you tomorrow.
Good night.